Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be I met with nagging and disdain from my wife when I work too much. Well, what do I often say? It's a woman's job to make your dick hard, not your life. However, the other thing is that a man's job is also, and his duty is to protect and provide for his family, especially if you got a stay-at-home mom like this particular viewer does. So he's got a recurring issue with his wife, and he can't figure out what to do. So he said that about 2 years ago, he moved his wife and his young family across the country so he could go work for his dad. And ultimately, when his dad retires, I assume, meaning in a few years, that he's going to basically inherit the business and he'll make a significant amount of money. However, for whatever reason he doesn't go into, he took a pay cut. It seems like a big pay cut to come work for his dad so he could learn the business and take it over at some point in the future. He doesn't elaborate as to when that's supposed to happen. So this has been going on for about 2 years, and so he's only making $75,000 a year. It's him, his wife. I think they got 2 kids, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, they had their second child because when she moved there, she was originally working for a bit, and then once she had their second, she became a full-time stay-at-home mom. So there's a significant decline in their standard of living. So they're on food stamps, and they're also burning through their savings to make ends meet. And from a woman's perspective, that's the kind of thing it's, women need your calm masculinity. Us guys, we can go through long periods of time where we're unstable, live like a broke college student, sleep on a 4-inch foam mattress at our buddy's house while we're building our business stuff. But when you got a family and you got kids and stuff like, especially like in this case, he said he made a significant amount of money before they moved here. And so he listens to her. She expresses concerns, but what he's communicating back to her, which I don't think he realizes, is that the status quo is going to stay the same. And so her attitude is, he says the problem, the nagging, comes in when he basically works any more than 45 hours a week. She basically is communicated that she would rather have him at home than have him go work, especially when he took such a significant pay cut. In other words, the juice is not worth the squeeze to her and the kids because he's away all this extra time, but he doesn't get compensated for it. And that's the issue. He thinks it's really that she so much can't enjoy the quality of life that she used to, which she can't, obviously. However, the real issue as a man is that, let's think about this for a second. I know if this is my son and I'm like, hey, I'm going to retire and I want to give you the business, I'm not going to ask my son to, say he's making $500,000 a year. I want you to give up $500,000 a year, move halfway across the country, and I'm going to pay you $75,000 because, you don't know the business. So you need to start out entry level like everybody else. And he's thinking, okay, I'll do this for a few years and I'll learn the business. Eventually I take over, I work my way up. Maybe that's what he's thinking. But as a father, I wouldn't do that to my son. However, on the flip side, I'll give you an example from America's favorite president and his Don Jr. And so I think Don Jr. is the oldest. So I think when he was like, I don't know, he's a teenage, 12, 14, 15 years old. He's working for his dad. He's driving, a front-end loader or a backhoe. Or he's driving construction equipment around. And he's making like $10, $12 an hour because it's like entry level. He's a kid basically. And so he's working for this is Donald Trump. He's working for this, Trump Jr. He's working for him. And after a couple of years, he's like, hey, Dad, how come you never gave me a raise? And he goes, because you never asked. And so he did it on purpose. He was purposely basically not going to give his son a raise just because he was like, he wanted him to ask about it because he wanted to teach him the lesson. You don't get what you deserve in life. You only get what you negotiate. So you got to ask. You got to ask for the order in sales. And so it's a valuable lesson to teach your son. And maybe there's some kind of lesson like that the father's trying to teach the son. Because if it's me and I'm in this guy's situation, I know how I would handle it, and I'm sure the answer I'm going to give this guy is probably not what he was expecting. But as I go through this, you look at this and go, does that sound like a fair deal to this guy? Now, I remember back in the day, I wrote, for those of you that read Mastering Yourself, when I went to work for Syntax Rooney, I really wanted that job. I really wanted to move up there. It was part of my life plan. And the thing was, is Mike Wood, the VP, knew that. And he's a negotiator. That's what he does. And so I think I was making like 42,000 a year at the time. This is like 1995. Just graduated college maybe 6 months before. Got a raise when I graduated because I had my degree and everything. And he says, well, I only got 37 in the budget. You notice the long, awkward pause. That's what he did to me. You know, I'm 25. I'd never been in this situation before. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, like, is he saying to me that I can't have the job unless I take a pay cut of $5,000 a year? Is he just negotiating with me? I didn't realize at the time, but that's kind of what he's doing. But I'm kind of putting myself last. In other words, that's part of what he's doing is saying, I know this guy really wants the job. Will he take a $5,000 pay cut? And then I said, well, I should have, if I had known then what I know now, I said, well, I'm making 42, and I need to make at least what I'm making now because I'm going to move and everything. And if I had understood negotiation better, then I would have been like, and I would have looked back at him like that. But because I'm a kid. I don't know anything. I don't know negotiation. I don't know the tactics. I hadn't really studied the art yet. And I didn't realize what he was doing to me. And then I said, well, the cost of living is cheaper up here. And I was like, okay. And he's like, great. And, we made arrangements when I could start and everything, gave me numbers to, call the main office, get payroll, Social Security, whole address, the whole 9 yards set up. And, and he's like, well, I wouldn't, he's like, maybe you got to go think about it. I wouldn't want you coming up here all upset because you took a pay cut. And, he's really selling. I look back on it now, it's like I got bamboozled. I should have said, well, I'm happy to come for 42. I'd love to be here. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you really wanted me, you pay me 45 because I'm worth it. He who speaks first loses, and then the negotiation. So those things are important. And so maybe Dad here is teaching him a lesson. And maybe because he's thinking, oh, it's my dad, okay. I don't know what he told him, but if the company can't afford to pay him at least what he was making before, so when does he actually get good money? When Dad retires, or is the company just not making enough money and the only way he's going to make more money in the future is if he grows the business? But bottom line is he's got an issue, and this is the way women are. Emotionally, they don't like the conditions under which they're living. And so the wife's attitude is, well, quite frankly, what you're getting paid is only worth 45 hours away from me and the kids. So I prefer you stay at home the extra hours if you're not going to get compensated. So she's kind of tweaking his balls. Because remember, this is one of the beautiful things about women. It's like you got a chink in your armor or weakness. Or like in this case, I mean, it kind of looks, I look at this and go, Dad's taking advantage of me. See what you guys think when we go through it. But that's either that or Dad's trying to teach him a lesson, or the business can't afford, doesn't have the cash flow to pay him what he was making before. And so from a negotiation perspective, he took a huge pay cut for the promise of future profits, maybe several years in the future, and quite frankly, the wife's not happy about it. He's not really addressing it. He listens, but he just basically says, we're going to keep doing the same thing. And also, who knows, maybe he's got a bunch of debt and credit cards and other things, but he said he used to make significantly more money, and he's burning through his savings. So, with that long diatribe in mind, because this really is a art of negotiation thing that everybody needs to understand, especially you younger guys out there like this dude. Because this will really help you in business, and this is why I have lots of clients over the last 20 plus years I've been doing this, that use what I teach in negotiation that's in Mastering Yourself to 10 times their income, to go from 300 G's a year to 3 million a year, 500 grand a year to 5 million, just by how they negotiate. And so, again, I say this all the time. It's not just with women. It's everything in life. buying a house, selling a house. At the end of the day, you don't get what you deserve in life. You're only going to get what you negotiate. And quite frankly, I think this guy is a piss poor negotiator for himself. He put himself and his family last. And on some level, his wife knows that, and that's why she's continually nagging him about this, because he's not addressing it. And that's what women will do, because it's his job to handle this. He is the leader. She's completely dependent upon him to do things. Obviously, she could do it in a more artful or tactful way, but the bottom line is she doesn't feel safe, because he put himself and the family and the kids last in a business deal with his father. And also, I have similar. I got friends that have gone through a similar issue with a family business that they were working for since they got out of college and were going to buy. And then what dad wanted to sell it to him for, they didn't want to pay that. They didn't think it was worth it. And I think they kind of figured dad was going to give him a hometown discount, and dad wasn't willing to do that. And he ended up selling the business to somebody else. So he had to go out on his own and start a business. And that created a nasty rift in the family. So, dad's got to, like I said, maybe he's teaching him a lesson. But to ask your son to take a pay cut like that, if the business can't afford it, that's not a wise decision. So he says, hey, coach, I got a recurring issue with my wife that I can't seem to figure out. About 2 years ago, we moved from our hometown to mine across the country so I could join my dad's business and work to take it over as he retires. I came in with no direct experience and have been drinking from the fire hose to become an expert. I started off making much less money than I'm used to, and she worked for the first year until we had our second child. So, again, because it's your dad, you're thinking, oh, he's going to give me the business for nothing. So, yeah, it makes sense that I'll take a pay cut now. However, you still got to raise your kids. You got a wife. You want to enjoy your life. You don't want to suffer and be miserable. So if it's me, and again, when I was young, I didn't really understand this stuff, but you younger guys, this can really, really help you if you find yourself in a situation like this, whether it's your dad or a potential employer like me. I mean, I gave away that $5,000. I probably could have held out and got more. If I'd known then what I know now, he probably would have paid me $50,000-$55,000 to move up there, to uproot my life, because that was worth something. But he also, in that business, you're going to be expected to move around once a job finishes. Then I may get sent to Louisiana or Tampa or wherever the next big project is. So part of that is, are you willing to move? Because you'll move up in the company if you're willing to move. So, but at the end of the day, I would have said to him, I was like, Dad, I would love that. I'd be honored to take over the family business, but I'm just pulling a number. I don't know what he makes. He didn't say, but if I'm making 500 G's a year and you're expecting me to take a lot less, or maybe even $300,000 a year, I'm going to be like, we're going to have another kid soon. It's like, I can't afford that. I can't take that kind of a pay cut. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to go work for your dad and take a significant pay cut, why does he expect you to take a pay cut? Oh, because you're new and you don't have any experience? It was like, I got a family to feed. I got a lifestyle. I got bills to pay. I got car payments. I can't just downsize like that. That's not going to... That dog won't hunt, Daddy. So if you're willing to pay me what I'm making now, then I'll come. And otherwise, if you're not, if the company can't afford to pay me that, then maybe it'd be better for when you're ready to retire, you just try to find a buyer to sell it to. Because if I'd love to come and take it over, there'd be a great opportunity, but you got to pay me at least what I'm making now. This doesn't make sense financially. The wife's not going to be happy about that. She's not going to like not being able to get her nails and her hair done and everything else. So I don't want to decrease my quality of life for an unknown number of years and then suffer financially and put strain. One of the number one reasons why families split up is financial stress. That's one of the number one reasons for divorce. So why would I want to put my family through that and risk my marriage and fuck my kids up? It's like, I don't want to do that. It's not a good deal for us. Appreciate the opportunity. And at the end of the day, if his dad's business can't afford it, it's like he shouldn't be expecting you to... Either that, or dad's got to take a pay cut while he trains you so he can afford to pay you what you're worth to take it over. So there's that. And maybe dad's just very matter of fact when it comes to business. Just like my friend's father was. It's like create a rift in the family. I can understand his point of view and their point of view. But at the end of the day, it's like things aren't really that pleasant around the holidays now. And it should be his golden years. They're fucking pissed at him. So he pissed off multiple kids. But hey, man, that's life. Those things are going to happen. So it's got to be a win-win or a no deal is going to happen. So these are really important, critical things, especially if you're committing to a job or a business or whatever, and you're committing to something financially for years. This is why I'm taking extra time to go through this stuff. It's important. You can't just be flippant about it like it's no big deal. Since then, she's been a stay-at-home mom, taking care of the kids. We're in our early 30s. It's like, yeah, it's like when kids are young, that's the fucking best years. From time they're little till they're about 12, 13, they start talking back to you. It's like, those are the fucking golden years of parenting. That's where it's so much fun. Those are my best memories being a stepdad when I was younger. It's fucking awesome. And you don't want to miss out on that. And so if you're going to miss out on that, you better get fucking compensated. I've gotten a few raises since, but I'm only still making $75,000. We're on WIC and food stamps and using our savings to make it by. It's like, that shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't have to bankrupt yourself and your family just so you can get a free business from your dad. I mean, that's kind of stupid. But again, maybe he's trying to teach you a lesson because you were a terrible negotiator for yourself. I don't think you really thought this through financially. God knows I'm ashamed by this, but I've been willing to run lean for now because of the unlimited ceiling that business ownership provides. So, do you even know what the business makes? Do you know how much profit it provides? Or are you just basing on unlimited success because you think owning it and eventually you'll just grow it and you'll make a lot more money in the future? You've never run this business. You're just learning it. So the way I look at it is if the business isn't already throwing off enough profit to pay you at least what you were making before, it's like that's not a win-win deal for you and your family or kids. That's terrible. So, and if your dad can't take a pay cut to make up for the difference that the cash flow the company, doesn't provide, then, why would you want to buy that business anyways? That just sounds like it's small. It would be stupid to buy a business based upon what you hope it'll make in the future. You gotta evaluate it what it makes today. And typically with businesses, I remember when we got a business appraisal, if your company makes $100,000 a year, the company's worth $250, $300. It's not a lot. They just look at it's like 2-3 times earnings. That's because sometimes the owner leaves and then not all the clients stick around. Or maybe they don't like you. They like the other guy. And so it's not all sunshine and roses. That's why most people have an inflated idea. Probably this guy's father has a really inflated idea of what his business is actually worth. That's why a business appraisal is worth the money. So dad knows what the business is really worth, and you know what it's worth. And it doesn't sound like you understand any of that. You just thought, you know what, I'll run lean, be like a broke college student, be difficult for the family for a few years, but then once I take over, it'll really skyrocket. So again, this was financially not a good deal for him and his family. And the wife is calling him out on it, and he's not doing anything about it yet because I don't think he understands this. That's why I'm taking the time, because it's important. This makes a difference as you go through life, whether you end up as a multi-millionaire and you're set for life and can live off the interest on your capital, or you're fucking bagging groceries at Publix when you're 80 years old because you didn't put enough away. So there's too much downside risk here. You're risking your family for a Kentucky guarantee. I know success and freedom is in our future. However, as you know, this type of lifestyle requires extra time and effort to make it to the promised land. Therein lies the issue for my wife. Well, again, at the end of the day, why was it necessary for you to take a huge pay cut to come take this business over? Why would your dad expect you to go through that unless he just couldn't afford to pay you that? And if that was the case, I would have never taken that deal in the first place. I would have said, I love you, Dad. I would love to take the business over, but I can't take that kind of a pay cut and a lifestyle change. I'm in my early 30s. We got young kids. These are the best years of our lives. And we want to enjoy it. I don't want to stress the family out and live like a broke student and hope that maybe 10, 15 years from now we'll make it. Our kids will be gone by then. That's not good for our marriage. It seems almost any time I put in more than 45 hours a week or attend occasional after-work meetings for travel, I'm met with nagging and disdain from my wife. Yeah, because quite frankly, it's weakness because you put yourself and her and the kids last when it came to negotiating this business deal for yourself or for all of you. To be clear, my wife is an all-star partner and mom in every aspect, but almost without fail, she will huff and puff when I tell her I have extra commitments for business. Bear in mind, I am up daily at 4:30 to hit the gym and get to the office early. Then as soon as I come home, the other thing is going to the gym and staying looking fit and in shape and attractive, that also helps keep women honest because they know if other women are going to find you attractive because you're fit and in shape. So that's important. Helps you maintain your superpower to seduce her at will, because then she'll be worried about potentially losing you to another girl. That's why women say they like the dad bod. Nobody's going to rip you off if you got a dad bod. Then as I come home, I am super dad for the kids until they fall asleep, where then my wife and I enjoy some time together until bed. He's like, yep, that's pretty much what everybody goes through. Welcome to adulting 101. I take on each challenge and sacrifice with a smile. Well, because that's what men do. We're the disposable commodity in society, and nobody cares about our problems. We got to make things happen. Her side of this discussion pertains to me not making enough money for her to live the lifestyle she wants to live. I know women are disgusted by the idea of their circumstances regressing rather than improving, and I think she is spoiled by the life her dad created. Well, you created that life too. He makes good money, runs his business from home, and her mom doesn't work and swipes the card without having to think about it. Well, it sounds like that's what you had before. My wife tells me she struggles to support my endeavors because her support at home already outsizes my salary. And so what she's basically saying is your time away from the family is not worth the money you're getting paid. So therefore, that's why 45 hours, that's it. That's all your daddy gets to have you. If he wants you for more than 45 hours, he needs to fucking show me the money. You not got to negotiate better, dude. This is a shitty business deal for yourself. Either that or your dad's company doesn't do well enough for you to take the pay cut. And quite frankly, if it's me, if your dad's company can't afford to do that or won't do that, then I'd be considering moving back and get your old job back or an equal or better one where you can get back to living the way you guys used to live. And your dad can go and sell the business and, get his check. But if it's not going to, if he can't afford to pay you, you can use that as part of your negotiation. It's like, Dad, I'm like bankrupting my family and I'm damaging my marriage. It's not good for me. It's not good for your daughter-in-law, and it's not good for your grandbabies. It's like, if I'm going to be away, I got to get compensated. This is just, it puts unnecessary financial stress on us. It's one of the number one reasons couples divorce. And so I'm creating one of the worst conditions I can create for my family, which is financial stress. Hoping that someday I'm going to make more. It's like, I got to make more now, or I'm going to probably have to move the wife and the kids back to where we came from and get my old job back. I just can't do it. It's not worth it. The loss of the lifestyle and the strain in the family, it's just, I'm not going to do it. I love you. I want to help you, but I want to take the business over, but I got to get paid or I'm going to, I got to do what I got to do to take care of my family. It's my duty as a man. This is not working for me. It's not good enough. Love you, but we got to have some kind of a win-win deal or I'm going to have to, look at me with the family way. And then we won't be around as much. We won't see each other as much, which will be a bummer. But, that's life, man. So those, you need to, and so this would also be a conversation you'd want to say, you could also phrase it to your wife. Say, honey, I've been thinking, you know what? I hear your complaints about our financial situation. You know what? I've thought about it and you're right. It's not worth it. And so what I want to do is I'm going to talk to my dad, tell him he needs to pay me at least what I was making before so we can get back to living the way we were living, because it's not worth it to go through our 30s and struggle financially. And, because we're going to, stress out financially while our kids are going through this difficult time with us. And 10, 15, 20 years from now, we're really be doing well when they're gone? It's like, no, that doesn't work. And you know what? I appreciate you continually, even though it would have been much nicer if you'd been more diplomatic about it instead of kicking me in the nuts. But again, this has gone on for 2 years, and you're right. We should be making more money. And if he's not willing to pay us or can't pay us, if the business can't afford that, then we probably should pack our shit and go back to where we came from, and I'll get my old job back. And I would imagine that she would probably absolutely support that. So it's got to be win-win or no, or you're gonna have to dip. That's the way I would be looking at it. Because, and again, if your dad can easily afford it, he's not trying to teach you a lesson, it's kind of a dick move, expecting you to take a pay cut. But maybe he's an old timer, hard ass. He's like, you got to climb the ladder like everybody else. You got to start in the mailroom and work your way up. He's like, no, I already got an established life. And you're not hiring somebody that's wet behind the ears that just got out of college. You're hiring a family man in his 30s. So if you want me and my expertise and the fact I am your son, you got to pay. I'm not going to take a pay cut to come work for you. I love you. I love the business, but I'm not doing that. Or I'm not going to do that any longer. So that's how I would be handling this. Because until you fix this, it's your two other choices are what? Reduce your expenses or somehow get a side hustle, make some more money, start another business on the side. It's like, it just seems like financially it's better if your dad can't afford to pay you that you got to go. You go back home. And your wife will love you for that because you listened, she brought up good concerns, and quite frankly, why should you guys go through your 30s and when your kids are, it's the best times when you could have a better lifestyle in another city. You know, I wouldn't want to waste your 30s and then say, oh, we're going to really enjoy our lives in our 40s. It's like, no, you should find a way to do it now. It's like money talks, man. So you need to get compensated properly. You can't put yourself last just because it's your dad and his family. He says, I do my best to validate her concerns, but there's nothing I can say that will have me making more money by tomorrow or make her excited about getting through the trenches with me. Yeah, because quite frankly, you don't really have a plan, and it doesn't sound like you understand the financials of your dad's business anyways. If he's expecting you to take it over, what's it making? And again, why can't he pay you what you were making before? Of course, there are more details, but this is the gist of it. I appreciate any insight you might have. Well, if it's me, that's how I'd handle it. But no matter what you do in life, man, you don't get what you deserve. You only get what you negotiate. It's got to be a win-win or no fucking deal. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com. Click the coaching tab at the top of your screen on any page of my website and book a coaching session with yours truly. If you haven't already signed up for our exclusive premium members-only content, in the video description is video. There are links to join on YouTube, or you can join on Spotify, or our website, understandingrelationships.com. Just click the plans tab when you get there. You can do a 7-day free trial, check all the great content you get. And if you choose an annual plan, you can get a 25% discount at the end of the 7-day free trial. So go to understandingrelationships.com, click the plans tab, sign up for a premium membership trial today. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.